got to put production-centric first, because you can't really have fun if you're broke. Stay focused on growth. If it gets out of your organization and you get off track, put it back in. Here's how. Hey guys, welcome to the show today. Excited to have you. Want to talk to you a little bit about a concept called culture in your organization. Culture. A lot gets made out of the word culture, and culture is different for lots of different leaders of different types of organizations, whether you maybe have a real estate team or a small group or a real estate brokerage, some other company or organization. Maybe it's a nonprofit, maybe it's your church, maybe you're the chairman or president of a board of directors. I can tell you that as a leader, you're leading a group of people. Culture matters in a big way. And it's often, it's very important to people. It can often get misread as the fun, fluffy part of the business. And you get a lot of social people think it's just about having fun and making sure, and to some extent it is. But at the bottom line, a successful culture comes from success. So culture can't save an organization if the people in it aren't doing well, if it's not growing, if people aren't growing professionally, if they don't see the opportunity to make more income, if they aren't making more income, if they see a leader that's scaling back and not growing, or even just stagnating. So to get a culture that is positive, there needs to be some degree of focus on growth within the organization. And hopefully the overall organization is focused on growth, that we're not just putting out fires, that we're not just, solving problems or handling existing business. We're not just servicing business. We're actually focused on the growth of the organization, where we want to go. We've got a mission, we've got a plan, and we are acting, on a regular basis, consistently, usually through leadership and team and meetings each week, attacking new projects that are that are out the front windshield of the car. And we're not just always dealing with what's going on in the car, looking in the rearview mirror or what we've done already. We really need to be attacking new ways to grow and really working on projects in the future. That is what creates an exciting future. Why? Because achieving new futuristic visionary goals gives people hope that they can make more income, that they can get more time off, that they can get more flexibility, get more responsibility, get more career development right where they are. And they feel like they're in the place to be. And that is a growth-oriented culture, okay? So we really need to make sure our culture is focused on growth, but it's also got to be focused on success, right? At least, we don't need to necessarily be successful every minute, every day, or every month of the year. You're going to go through seasons of down markets and, or where, personnel leaves, and you're going to go through the ups and downs. It's always to some degree 3 steps forward and then 2 steps back. You hit obstacles. So it's not always going to feel like we're growing and making more income and we're succeeding. But the overall picture, we need to be always taking that 3 steps forward. So how do we, so we drill down on that growth plus success thing. And one of the, so what we've done is at Icenhower Coaching, we coach many of the highest performing businesses, whether they be teams or brokerages or even national brands. We consult with them, we coach them, we train them, train their people. We've kind of come up with a term that I call production-centric. There's a hyphen in there, production-centric. I don't know if that's a word. I don't think it is. I think we made it up, which means as long as we keep at the core center of our culture a production-centric atmosphere, so we're always trying to grow, we're always trying to produce. We're trying to enable everyone to get better. And generally speaking, it's going to be increasing production, whether that's growing more personnel, growing more products, producing more sales, more transactions, more listings, more leads? Are we producing, more bodies, recruiting, producing more leaders? Those are all growth-oriented actions, right? And all of those things increase the likelihood of success of the individuals within the organization. Real estate sales agents, for example, increase production, more income. Helping them leverage and get more time helps them grow their businesses and sustain balanced personal lives. That is production-centric culture. We don't want to lose sight of that. You'll see people sacrifice success for culture, and that we don't want. We want them aligned. Again, an example of when you do that, you'll see people say, oh, you know what? Well, I don't want to work. I don't want my people to work that much. We want them to be present for their families, as if it's one or the other. I can tell you the successful business people that are more present for their family and their personal interests are the ones that have succeeded at the highest levels with the most business. Why? Because more business increases more income. More income avails you the opportunity to hire more people, hire more marketing that requires less effort and work of your own. So that gives you a lot more free time. And that can happen within your organization at every single level. I'm not going to get into all the hows and whys we do. We can empower, let's say, real estate agents in our organization to grow their own organizations within yours. I'd say, well, that might be the topic of another show, or I could say get an Icenhower consultant or coach to help you with that. Lots of ways to do that. To help them really get to a place where they can be more present. But if you have back to the point, if you have an organization that puts those two opposed to each other, in other words, success and growth only comes at the expense of sacrificing, your lifestyle, your personal interests, or your family, that's tough because your culture starts to clash there. Successful people that are actually doing all the things they do to need to succeed are going to start to receive a little bit of flack and maybe some envy and maybe some negative attitudes or even comments from the people in your organizations who think that that's bad, that's evil, because you're not a good father or mother, or you don't have a balanced life. So we really want to make sure that the culture of our company is, remember, it's a company, it's a business, it's where people go to work. So there should be some sort of goal of earning an income. So let's make production-centric the core part of it. And how do we do that? How do we instill a production-centric mindset? Of course, there's mission statements and there's belief systems and core values that we can establish that, again, we can help you with at Icenhower, and and getting those set up and believed upon, and having annual or even semi-annual leadership retreats with the team to make sure they're all bought in on. That's one thing. But oftentimes that's window washing. We do it and they all believe in it and they're all motivated, and we forget all about it. And then all of a sudden we start complaining again about, how much money we're making, but we're not doing all those activities and that lead to those results, because we forgot all about how we're all going to do our part to be production centric and do all these growth activities. And then as the year gets on and we get busy, we start griping about, we don't make enough money and too much work, and we don't want to make the contacts, and we don't want to follow up with things, and all that, different common complaints that will always exist to some degree in every real estate organization. So I don't think you're going to eradicate them. But how do we mitigate the problem? How do we reduce them? How do we make sure that our culture wins the ultimate battle and is always the beacon of light that's always shining, even when it gets dark and people's attitudes get down when we're hitting obstacles? Well, I think there's a lot we can do to create a production-centric environment from the day-to-day and how we run our organization, right? And I just think it's a lot of helping the people in the organization succeed. So in real estate companies or real estate teams or brokerages, it's very key that we get established systems that we either empower or even hold our members accountable to. Now, remember, with teams, it's a little easier to hold people accountable as opposed to a traditional brokerage. Traditional brokerage, you can't make everybody tell them what to do every single day. And with teams, there's a little bit more consideration going back and forth. Typically, you're providing leads and things like that at a higher level. So typically, you can require more of your people. But examples is when you onboard and train new agents, on your team or your brokerage, do you provide them with the online training and not just tell them to do it? I mean, are they meeting with people on your staff? Do you have coaches? Do you put them through a pledge class where they at least meet with you once a week? Do you have an onboarding calendar for them that you tell them, you either hold them accountable to going through, or you explain to them that you empower them to go through, and you keep encouraging them to go through, where they go through online courses. Maybe you have live in-person courses. Nowadays, as people are more and more agreeable to and accepting of video training after the pandemic, that did serve to get people more involved. We could have onboarding training calendars where every member of the team, especially when they're brand new, they're susceptible to a lot of training. You could be having them watch 2 to 3 videos a day of how to set up their sphere of influence, how to work your CRM, how to go through, our team onboarding courses if you're a, Icenhower client, requiring them to shadow buyers consultations of other people in your organization, how to shadow listing appointments, how to shadow open houses. It could be how to door knock. It could be how to make calls, how to set up their CRM, all the different videos and online trade, how to conduct proper online lead follow-up if you're giving them online leads. All of those different courses we need to have automated, and our clients do. And then, maybe you meet with them at the end of every week to make sure they're getting through those courses, or you're going through the, ICC custom training suites dashboards where you can monitor to make sure that they are going through those courses, where you can see, hey, are you getting through these courses? Because when people first join, especially when they first get their license, my goodness, they don't know it's real estate and that we're all chickens with our heads cut off. They think they just got a job at Google. So at that point, they want orientation. That's like the one time agents will actually do training, because that's what they expect. But after 6 months, if you don't give them training, they're going to start to learn that, hey, no one here really works or doesn't need training. But if you're an organization that instills that culture, that production-centric culture right off the bat, that's what they'll know, and they will create good habits. So as leaders, we got to remember that, like, that's on us to instill the good habits. They don't know what to do, so we always blame them. Well, if you came over here and just said, hey, you got to kind of learn by the seat of your pants and show up when you can. Just remember back when they were new agents, they were like, hey, I'm just drowning. I don't even know what to do. Well, that was your opportunity to provide them with the systems to tell them what to do. And that establishes culture in your people right off the bat, that we're production-centric. Like, we are here to work. And that work will give us plenty of time to have fun too. And that's what creates a good culture. That's got to be the core of it. We can, your culture can be that, and you can have fun too, or it can be production-centric, and we're going to make sure we provide the best customer service, or we're going to be maybe community-oriented, or we're going to be, be agent-centric. All those things we can layer on top of the fact that we got to be successful, because, it's kind of like when you're, a flight attendant and you're on an airline and they say, hey, when the oxygen comes down, if you're with the child, make sure you put your mask on first before you help the child. Why? Because, it sounds terrible, and instinctively we want to help our child first, but if you can't breathe, you can't help anyone else. So you might both die. So you got to get your mask on so you can effectively have enough oxygen to be able to think and operate and help someone else. That's how we got to put production-centric first, because you can't really have fun if you're broke. So we got to put the oxygen mask on production-centric and leave that at the core, right? And on a level like like we talk about bigger brokerages where, you may not be able to hold people totally accountable can't tell them what to do every day at a traditional brokerage oftentimes, or you can suggest it, if you inundate them with it, you're constantly encouraging, because you're going to find people just get busy at different times. They might be during graduation time, so they don't have time to come into training or watch courses or things like that. But in-person stuff is fabulous too. It's much more effective. It does take some coordination, and you got to make sure you give lots of people in your office the ability to train. So even empowering agents in your office to turn around and train and giving them that ability to be leaders and speakers and learn is fabulous. But having an office training calendar where you're jam-packed every single day with different training events, and those events are not just on how to service business, they're also on how to get more business. Because then that puts all of the tools at their fingertips. If they start saying, well, I just couldn't generate enough income, and they'll say, did you tell them, hey, do you know how to do geographic farming? We have a course on that. Do you know how to door knock? We teach a training on that. Do you know how to build your sphere of influence? We have a training on that. All of a sudden, if you have all this training and they're not showing up, they start to realize, hey, it's me, it's not you. So if I'm going to succeed somewhere else at another brokerage, I better give this one a chance and actually use what they're giving to me. So it reminds them that they're on a constant basis that it's them, and they're going to have to make a change. So they don't start blaming you. So having a packed office training calendar, yes, have some online stuff for sure. You want to go next level as a large office or brokerage, having a lot of training schedule. I mean, I've owned many real estate brokerages and still do own some in a more passive sense, but I mean, those things are packed with in-person training, and they're known for that. They're known for, even training at the top levels, like how to build teams and how to leverage and hire an assistant. You show people that they're in the right place even if they become successful, so they don't go someplace else to become, after you make them successful or you help them become successful. They don't go someplace else. Show them that you can stay put here and we'll keep adding value to you. Because you do, as a leader, have to continuously evidencing value. The whole idea that just because you help them that they're going to be loyal to you forever is just crazy. In the real estate world, you wake up even Steven with your agents every day. Okay, they don't owe you anything, and you don't owe them anything. They work, they generate business, they pay you a cut, you're even every single day. So don't think that just because that you help them learn all these things, you've made an income off that too. They may move on if they don't see enough value from you anymore, because at some point, if your desires to learn exceed what the brokerage is providing, you might go someplace else to get it. So you need to keep training at high levels and keep giving them reasons to come and keep supporting them at high levels. That's production-centric. You never stop. And it's not just about producing income, remember. They want their life back. So showing them how to leverage their own organizations is very powerful, and continuing to educate on their management and their stepping away and things like that. So make sure that teams and brokerages infuse your systems with training. So I'm going to play something for you, and this is kind of a simulcast. So those of you on the podcast, you'll listen to this. If you're watching the video, you can get to see this. It's not much of a difference. You can hear everything, but here's an example of how we provide training systems for organizations. And I think you'll think this is pretty darn cool from an online platform, how leaders are infusing their organizations with a production-centric culture in their real estate team or brokerage. Here is the platform we have created, and it's the only one like it in the industry, and I just love it. Introducing the Custom Training Suite, your company's own custom branded training website loaded with Icenhower Coaching's vast library of powerful training courses for real estate agents, teams, and brokerages that includes your own custom course creation, manager dashboards and reporting, and even course certifications and designations. You can host ICC's comprehensive training courses, as well as create your own custom training courses, all on a custom branded website ICC creates for you. Hi everyone, this is Brian Icenhower, and this is going to change everything for the real estate industry. When your agents use their own personal logins to access their student dashboards and course libraries, they'll see your organization's branding throughout the site. We provide robust coursework and diverse options for learning. Each course comes with video lessons, audio lessons, downloadable and printable course workbooks, scripts, tools, and the plug-and-play high-level systems that ICC is known for. Quizzes and action steps provide agents with accountability and a game plan with actionable takeaways after each lesson. With your management administrator account, you can access agent enrollment as well as reporting to monitor agent learning performance. You can view and download dynamic reports, a next-level solution for accountability at your real estate organization. When agents complete courses, they receive downloadable and printable course certificates and receive degree designations that can be formally abbreviated after their name in professional signature lines, online profiles, and other types of marketing. Along with access to over 50 of ICC's award-winning online training courses, you can also create your own customized training courses specific to more localized training topics like office file compliance, local MLS systems, contracts and disclosures instruction, your own CRM training, and new agent orientation and onboarding. The Custom Training Suite is your own custom branded training website that is changing the game for real estate companies and teams everywhere. All right. Well, I hope that makes some sense. Another way we provide it and kind of automate it all for you online as well too. And it really helps with teams and brokerages where people aren't in the office all the time, or a small percentage of your team or brokerage comes into the office regularly. And even then, it's not usually all aligned. Now we can start, as the world has gotten a little bit more used to the pandemic. It's just another way you can provide value. And so many different systems and training in there as well too. So that's kind of a revolutionary thing that all our clients are taking care of, and phone's kind of off the hook about it. So kind of cool. Hope you like it. If you do want to learn more about it or check out how that works and the pricing and all that, just go to eisenhowercoaching.com. You'll see the training systems menu item at the top of the screen. Just click on training systems and you can get in there and inquire, talk to one of our people, and see what we can do for you there. So yeah, eisenhowercoaching.com, click on training systems at the top. So hopefully that helps. Guys, thanks for your time today, giving me so much of it. Remember, Production-Centric is the culture that becomes the foundation of any successful organization, especially in the real estate industry. So stay focused on growth. If it gets out of your organization and you get off track, put it back in. Here's how. All right, guys, thanks again. See you in the next episode.